Assalamualaikum. Hello everyone and welcome to the Sinar Daily Sport Matters podcast series with me, your host Adila J. Sam. The Sport Matters podcast is a space where we discuss both in front and behind the scene issues related to sports. So in the previous episode, Error in the System, we talk about Malaysian sport organisation rules toward modifying the way we build new strategies to boost Malaysian sports performance. And for today's episode, Dedication and Value in Sports, we have two fantastic guests who have involved in sport administration and that will share their insight with us today. So before I introduce them, who wants to win RM200 ringgit worth of Al-Ehsan vouchers? All you need to do is stick till the end of the show and then collect the 3 keywords I will be mentioning throughout the program. And then all you need to do is drop the 3 keywords at the comments box. As I said earlier, we have two fantastic guests in the studio today for our discussion, dedication and value in sports. So let's welcome our two guests in the studio, Datuk Dr. Ramlan, Abdul Aziz and Datuk Muhammad Nasir Hamzah. Welcome to Sinar Daily Sport Matters.
Thanks for waiting.
Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam. How are you? Okay, just chill, get relaxed.
Sure,
Okay.
no problem.
Just an icebreaker question. Okay, maybe you guys can take turn. How about you share about a little bit about yourself and then what are you doing right now? And then what is your favorite sport? That is an important thing because that's the reason we are here. And then if you were in Olympics, what sport will you do?
Okay, I suppose I'll start. Thank you very much for inviting me in the first place. And I've been in sports since leaving the Ministry of Health in 1990. I was there for a bit more over 2 years. Before I joined, I was in the anesthetic department of Hospital Besar Kuantan in Pahang. And then I decided early on to do sports medicine, simply because it was a new area and of course because of my involvement with sport in various capacities when I was in school. I played basketball at my school, rugby for my house. But at the same time, there was a certain affinity with sport that I felt where I wanted to work with the healthy, right? Working in anesthesia in Kuantan, you also work in the, in certain high risk wards and all that, and you see death on a daily basis. So it's quite wearing, and to be able to work with the living and the healthy is a big change. But then I joined, I applied to be a sports medical officer with National Sports Council 1990. So I got in. So altogether from 1990 to when I retired, bersara secara wajib in 2020. So it was all about 30 years. And since then I've continued to work on a part-time basis, still seeing patients because I'm still a licensed practitioner and all that. So you need to use that. And then and in between, there's so much to tell. I will just try to incorporate that in our discussion. Thank you.
So how about your background?
Okay, first, thanks for having me here. So actually, I was never a sportsman in any way. Of course, I played football during my school days and all that, but never in serious sports. But since my background is we are an entrepreneur, we are the publisher of Sinar and a few magazines and all this. So we came into involvement in sports when we start sponsoring Kelantan Football Association. There's a TRW. That was about 12 or 15 years back. So we start sponsoring them. We keep in touch with the game and all that, how to manage the team. And so I was sponsored by the company to be on board of TRW, and they appointed me also as one of the vice presidents of the association. So from there, the love for football and football management grows, and until today also I haven't stopped involved myself in football management in various levels. In fact, some people still come to me for advice. especially in Kelantan, because with the present state of the football in Kelantan is so bad. So all this kind of things.
All right. So beside than that, what is your hobby?
My hobby.
Yeah, hobby. Yeah, you didn't mention about your
Oh
hobby.
yeah. Sorry. Okay.
I did so many things. When I was at school, I delved into music, so I'm a musician. So many people play guitar, which I played as well, but nobody played drums, so I played drums eventually. So the band is still alive. We still play for our alumni events and all that, and our batch as well. I was in Form 5 in 1977. So throughout the years, I also, apart from the sport, basketball, there were also other things because I was also a debater, English debater. I was Secretary General of the Students' Union.
Interesting.
Apa lagi, prefect and all that lah, all those things. So it was a very eventful life as a young man. It was something that I think probably prepared me for the life that I eventually chose to be in sport, because not only am I a clinical sports medicine specialist, I was also involved in sports science because the other colleagues, they were involved in various areas of sports science. You know, macam-macam. You've got physiology, psychology, nutrition, biomechanics, performance analysis, these sort of things. And you have to have a working knowledge of all of these in order to work usefully with them and to benefit the athletes directly. Otherwise, it's just many silos working separately, which I don't think was the way we wanted to work. Eventually, we became, we sort of devised a way of integrating all these multidisciplinary facets into one workable team so that we addressed the performance issues and came up with the solutions. One of the things that it's very much most of the time it felt like we were explorers, you know, because it's never been done that way before. We've got areas of expertise in certain areas. My predecessors, such as Dr. Ronnie Yeo, Dr. Nordin Darus, now Datuk Dr. Nordin Darus, they're good people and they forged the way through. So when they were out of the picture, it fell upon me to carry the exploration, right? Macam peneroka Felda lah, you see, tebas hutan, so that kita dapat we've got a good plantation that will get good produce and good results and all that. So it was something like you are sort of crossing the bridge while you were building it. So it was very much like that. I'm very glad to always see if anybody who works with me and follows me would do even better than we ever did. That would be a mark of progress.
How about your hobby, Datuk Nasir?
Okay, for me, actually, I like swimming, fishing, and jungle trekking. During our school days, you know, we used to be a scouts.
Oh,
so
scouts.
that's how we love the nature, we love the environment and all this. So actually, fishing is not so much about fishing, but when you go into the sea, deep into the sea, it is the whole world is yours.
So still the current hobby.
In fact, this coming Friday, I'm going back to Kelantan and I'm going to Pulau Perhentian for fishing.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay, that's
My late
nice.
grandfather went deep sea fishing as well.
Oh.
Gone for days, comes back, smelling of fish.
Yeah.
All right.
The catch is not important, but the hobby is.
Oh, yeah. Okay, one question we missed. If you were compete in Olympics, what sport will you do?
Okay, I've been to 6 Olympics, you know, but never as a competitor. I started in 92. I was basically with Dr. Nordin Darus. He took care of badminton, I took care of hockey. So in many ways, I suppose being hockey team doctor for 16 years eventually, I would love to play hockey. But I was, the only thing I was good at was collecting the balls that went astray. So they gave me a stick to collect the balls.
Oh,
At least
okay.
got me some exercise, okay? But hockey is a fascinating game. It is, even though it's a team sport, but it's always under, the intensity is always high because they got rolling substitution like basketball. There's no rest. That means everybody is always at the top performance level. So that keeps the intensity of the game going until the very end. Okay? But I like, I suppose I played rugby as well for my house. So that's a nice game as well. But I'm a bit I'm not so much into all the violence, even though they played as gentlemen, yes.
Yeah.
But eventually I settled with basketball.
Oh, basketball, still
basketball.
basketball. Okay,
Yeah.
how about you?
Yeah, for me, I prefer football and tennis. Tennis is a very good game, when especially now with you can make tons and tons of money from playing tennis.
Yes.
That's why I think we should encourage our children to play tennis.
Even the
also.
coaching fees
You
is,
see, like
it's quite
people,
expensive.
People like Alcaraz, just 20-year-old now, is a millionaire, multi-millionaire, just a span of 2 years. So I think that's all. Thank
All
you.
right. So today is going to be so packed with information and as well going to be fun because with these two fantastic guys, you're going to learn a lot from them. Okay. So before we begin the topics of today, for your information, we are at the heat of 12th Asean Para Games Cambodia. So the event has started on 2nd June and will end on 9th June. The Malaysian squad will be taking part in 171 along with the 12 types of sports. So as we can see on the screen is a current medal tally. So here are some updates of all the winners so far over the weekend. So wheelchair basketball team delivered the first medal by winning bronze in the men's team 3-3 defeating Indonesia 11-9. While para badminton contribute silver medal in men's standing. And on Sunday, 4th June, para swimming team flourished by contribute 9 medals in one day with 6 gold, 2 silver and 1 bronze. Friden Dawan won the first gold medal for Malaysia contingent in men's 400-meter freestyle S10, while another para swimmer, Carmen Lee, broke the game record for women's 100-meter breaststroke SB8 and bagged 2 gold and 1 bronze individually. Also, another para swimmer, Muhammad Aiman, broke the game record clock 28.15 seconds in the men's 50-meter backstroke S14. And also not to forget, team para athletes contribute 8 medals on the same day. Noor Imaina won a silver medal in shot puts women's. And the rising star, Muhammad Ashraf, won his first gold medal for the team para athletes in the men's 5,000 meter T46 events. So here are just some of the updates from Malaysian contingent. For more updates, make sure to visit www.sinardaily.my. Okay, back to the show. Okay, let's talk about your role and contribution in Malaysian sports scene. So I want to ask you first.
Okay, all right.
So based on your experience, can you describe your role as in Malaysian contingent in the major
Right.
sport? Because you mentioned about your
Mine
went
is
to
basically a multifaceted role. Okay. All throughout, I've always maintained my medical practice. Okay, because at the end of the day, people can appoint you to certain, positions. But I'm always a doctor, so I have to maintain that. So I've done even the time when I was when I joined National Sports Council in 1990. Eventually, they promoted me to be director of this Institute Negara, right? As a division of National Sports Council. He was still not part of National Sports Council in 1996. So 1996 until I finished in 2016. So that's a good 20 years as head of the Sports Institute, which has sports medicine, sports science, sports technology, right? Things like that. We were also involved in coaching education. Basically, we have 4 areas. You have service. That means you give service to the athletes in all these areas. You have research, of course, because you have to find out new things. There's so much to be discovered and to be pursued. And then you have what we call education, because sometimes people would like practitioners to teach, right? So that's why we get involved in teaching in some measure. Then, of course, standards. Standard is something we have not explored fully. We started to do it during my time, simply because we felt that if there is anything to do with, for example, the features of a sepak takraw ball, right? and certain things that you have to measure and all that. So you have to have standards, because if you don't have standards, you do not have a proper measure of the parameters of the sport, and also the standard of the sport itself when it gets going. So this is something that the 4 areas that we have to do. And then with all these areas, right? I mentioned sports medicine, sports science. And at the same time, I was involved in anti-doping as well.
Okay,
So
Adamas.
Because when it was set up, I was the one who, assisted Datuk Sri Azalina Osman at the time
Okay.
to set the anti-doping agency in 2007. After that, I divested myself involvement because I was also on the other side as a team doctor, you see. So there you go. So basically, like we mentioned just now about Peneroka Felda, right? We were exploring, right, setting things up. So that was very much like that. And then let me just zip through this thing, yeah. And then what happened is, in terms of you talking just now about the SEA Games and also the Asean Para Games, yes. In 2009, I was the CDM for the SEA Games in Laos, 2009. And then 2010, the following year, I was the CDM for the Asian Para Games in Guangzhou, China. So I have seen both sides of this endeavor in sports. And I have to say that sometimes you admire the Paralympic athletes, you know, because they have so much going against them with all the disabilities and also medical conditions that they have to overcome. And this is something that sometimes we have to realize. So if you say that you're able-bodied, it's not so much able-bodied as trying to be able-spirited. You see? So this is something that you have to get it down. And for them to mix together, I don't see wheelchair basketball, wheelchair tennis, or anything like that as a lesser version of the sport. It's another sport to me. If it's wheelchair tennis, it's a different sport because the demands are quite different, you know. In fact, in many ways, it is different. If you ask a person, able-bodied person, to play tennis in a wheelchair,
It's hard.
very difficult.
Different.
They would give up. Or when I was training for my sports medicine at London University in 1994, 95, right? You know what happened? They made us play wheelchair basketball in the wheelchair.
How was it?
They knocked us around. They knocked us around, and it was difficult. So that means they gave us a proper perspective that this is not easy, all right? For somebody to wake up in the morning, right, to rise and above all the disabilities and to perform at this level to win gold medals, you know, even at ASEAN Para Games, much less, even more for the Asian Para Games and for the Paralympics, where we have won gold medals.
Yes.
You see? So sometimes you have to have the same appreciation. So our political leaders at the time, I think KJ was the one who basically gave parity to so-called able-bodied and the Paralympic athletes. The same amount of allowances, you know, the same rewards and all that. So it is something that has to be seen in context. If you say that it is easier, how do you know it's easier? You know, how you define what easy is, number one. Number two, then what about sports? If you, the so-called range of able-bodied sports, one sport would appear to be easier than the other, yes? Right? So we can argue along those lines. So it doesn't have merit. Because at the end of the day, it is what you aspire. If it is there at that level, at the Paralympic, Asian Paralympic Games, and also ASEAN Para Games, then it's there, you have to honor the same thing, the same way. Right? So that's basically it. So that's what I do. Basically, I have somehow fallen into this pioneering mode for all of these areas, right? And when I was at all these Olympics, 6 Olympics over the years, every Olympics was different. You cannot say when you go to one, it's the same for everything. Okay? So it gives you a form of appreciation of why you're doing this in the first place. You have to always revisit your purpose, right? And apart from a purity of intent of what you're doing, you must also have a purity of purpose as well.
Right, thank you. So we have heard a little bit experience about Datuk, Dr. Ramlan. So we're going to take a short break and we're going to come back with more questions with Datuk Nasir. So let's take 5.
basics. Rewind. Back to basics.
All right, guys, we are back with Sports Matters. All right. Okay, let's focus on today's topic and back to the show. Okay, Datuk Nasir, this question is for you. You've been involved in Kelantan Football Association. So can you tell us how was your experience there involved in the sporting industry?
Okay, like what I said earlier, I was involved in Kelantan Football Association by accident because being a sponsor at that particular time, that was about 10 or 12 years ago. So when we were one of the really committed sponsor, we have been sponsoring without fail for the past 10 or 12 years since then. So they asked me to join their management team. So I was appointed at the time. First time was a deputy treasurer. Then later I stand for election. Then I won a vice president post and all this. Then that's how the love for football grows. Because managing football team is not easy. Because you have to understand the culture of the footballers, especially in our country, in Malaysia. You have to really take care of the footballers. One thing, the most important is you have to take care of their welfare. That's most important. Because they have no other income except playing football. Yeah. So if they don't play football, they don't have money. They don't have money, they cannot feed their children, they cannot feed everybody. So that's why we at whatever cost also, we have to make sure that their salary is well taken care. Each and every end of the year, of the month, the salary is there. The food is on their table. You see? So that's how, during our time, we have won treble, 3 cups, Malaysia Cup, FA Cup, and League Cup. You see? So this 3 cup, it is not an easy task, but we have to build up. We have to the communication between the players and the management team. All these are very important, and we have to. And you know, these football players, they have some kind of behavior that you need to pamper them and all this. So that's why, in order to make sure that the team goes on and move on, we have to make sure that their welfare is taken care. Their the facilities are okay, and of course, if you observe, the best facilities, the best football facilities is only in JDT. They have best stadiums in Malaysia.
Yeah.
Probably one of the best in the
now,
world
right?
also.
Yeah.
And all other teams, sometimes their stadium also, the toilets not properly, to the dressing room not so properly managed, not the cabinets cannot lock also, and all sorts of problems. You see? So we just imagine, under that constraint, the footballers definitely they cannot. They cannot concentrate on playing football because they have all sort of problems. So that's why we try to minimize all these problems. We try to improve the stadium. We try to improve the facilities. We try to improve the field. The problem is when most of the stadium management team, they never know how to manage the football field. Football field must be managed properly. The drainage system must be well in place. You have to water the grass every day. You have to put manure also. The fertilizer. but all this not done to the most team. So we have to go. We have to go. We have to learn lah. So from there we learn how all this. We have to study from. We go. We have to visit good football teams, and we went around the world. In fact, I went to Japan also. I went to Spain. We went to Manchester City, Manchester United, and all this. Then we learn from them. And when we went to Japan, what did they say? The FA president. They say during 1970s, they were learning from us how to play football. Wow. Because that time, our team used to beat them. Used to beat Korean team. Used to beat every Asian teams. But now where are we? So that's why I don't know. If organization like FAM, what are they doing to make sure that we come back? Our football is, we can go back to our 1970s. Or if not, we are at par. Now we are in the rank of 160 or 150 like that. By right, we should be at the rank of 60 or 70. By right.
At least. Yeah.
So that's why when I went to Japan, they said that their development programs really excellent. Children of 4 years old, 6 years old, or 7 years old being taken into their junior school, sports school. And in sports school, they don't just teach football. They also concentrate on academic. So that's why the parents are willing to send the children to the football academy. Because not only they learn how to play football professionally, but also they don't miss on academic. So they are excellent in both. Because playing football is just about, say, how many? 15 good years. After that, you cannot play football anymore. So if you are both professionally in football, and you are professionally qualified, graduates in accountancy, for example, you can always go back after your football days. You go to work as accountants or doctor or whatever your professional qualification is. But I don't know, here in Malaysia, you see that you read almost every day footballers got sick and nobody helped them. So then you have to go to welfare fund and all this. That shouldn't be any problem. That shouldn't be the problem. By right, they should be covered, insurance by insurance and all this. So this is something that we need to look into. I think for now.
So the next question, this is for both. During your time facilitating the athletes and the sport, is there anything like surprising event happen? I mean, like maybe as in good terms or bad terms? I mean, like you a lot, like 6-time Olympics, right? So you must witness a lot of victory.
Before I start on that, can I just pick up something from
Please.
what you said when it comes to development of players?
Yes.
The problem, one of the main challenges in our development culture is because we develop vertically instead of longitudinally. You see, any athlete that comes, any sport whatsoever, right? It becomes focused because football is very popular. But it's the same. This all more or less the similar issues with all sports. Okay, let's look at football, for example, while we're talking about football. Why in those days when we were more or less near the top, we were defeating teams like Japan, Korea, Burma, why were we successful then? It is because physical education was great in schools. Physical education. When physical education is great, that means when you specialize in any sport that you wish, you're already good you're ready to take all this load, okay, for high performance sports. If you cannot, you enjoy the sport for health, fitness, recreation. You will enrich your life, loving a sport. Now, this thing is something that we've lost, simply because by wanting something so much, we miss all the steps. We miss certain key steps. We accelerate ourselves thinking that, there's no shortcut to success, You cannot take any shortcuts. So what happens now is that, let's say, for example, Japan, for example, they had a 50-year development plan. 50-year. Complete, all the issues all sewn up. Right? See? So now they're reaping the rewards. Even at the ladies' football, they're reaping success. The problem with us is that we specialize inappropriately. I'm not saying it's too soon or too late or whatever, because our children that goes to school, there was a very long time when we didn't have enough time or intensity with the physical education. And our youngsters, they don't enjoy physical education because they get all sweaty. There's no showering facilities. They cannot change. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
Right?
I
Because
understand.
it's two sekolah dua. Sekolah pagi, sekolah petang. Right? So they don't have time to do all of this. So they tend to not enjoy physical education so much. At the same time, the limited time or period for physical education.
Yeah.
So this results in reduced foundations physically for all our youngsters across the board. Across the board. This will have impact on health, on social development, on youth development, because sports generally, one youngster doing sport is one youngster less on the streets. You see? So if you do sports properly, you have the proper foundation in education. This is all about education, nothing to do with sports ministry yet, This is all about the Ministry of Education.
Yeah.
Right? The way we do it. What is our culture of education? What do we look at it from a very three-dimensional approach, or are we just looking at satisfying this thing as part of the scenario, but really we're not going to it deeply and seriously enough. So what happens is that then instead of having proper school championships for football, you have carnivals where people play 15 minutes a half.
Yeah.
15 minutes a half. And then from there, you're supposed to get the talent and all that. So even the talent identification is hurt, you see. So this is something that has happened throughout the years, simply because we feel that physical education is somewhat not a serious part of education, when it is actually a very serious part of education. You see?
I agree because
Ah.
I used to be a PE teacher.
Oh,
There you go. There you
Yeah,
go.
so what happened was, I don't know, it's become a culture in the school. When we said about, okay, this one particular teacher, we're gonna take the relief of PE subject. Okay, we skip PE. We learn at math.
Okay.
Example. So that
Yeah.
time, I was thinking that maybe I can change the culture because my
Yeah.
background was an athlete,
Yes.
yeah, former national athlete.
Yeah.
But, you know, in one organization, when you have a seniority,
Yeah.
so they look this as, bad influence because maybe student might, drop from the certain subject. But, it goes back to what? Cerdas dan cergas.
Yeah. Cerdas dan cerdas.
You know, it's the same thing, Datuk. Sometimes not only do they cut the time, they do some of the subject. Sometimes people who are not qualified to teach physical education. Right?
Yeah.
I've seen English teachers, right, who would rather teach English, of course.
Not fit at all.
Us to do physical education. So what they do, they just
Yeah.
take football, throw the thing, and
Yeah.
22,
You
30
play.
people play. Main lah, pusing-pusing. Macam tu lah.
The culture still now, until now.
Yeah. So how can you expect excellence in sport? Because you never had any proper intention to have it excellent. It's just something there because it's there. Tapi it's not something that you want to see how it adds into the proper development, pembangunan insan, right? Because at the end of the day, when you teach football, for example, which is a great way to engender team spirit, right? Cooperation between people, understanding. And then now we talk about integration and all that. Because the best place for any population, any community to integrate from whatever background you come from is sport. Isn't it?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to add on a little bit
Yeah.
on this, especially on training. You see. So we go back to football
Yes.
because this is a national game and
Yes.
everybody interested in. And so, say for example, if you go to school, how many qualified coaches? I mean, the teacher.
Yeah.
And how many qualified coaches from the teacher in the school who can teach how to play football very well? So the most important thing is in everything we do, we must do right the first time. So if you teach the children how to kick football, the right for the first time, they will kick the right way. But without the proper coaches, and I think some of the teachers also now, in fact, training schools like IPGA and all this, they have special courses to train teachers to produce teachers on science subject, science, sports science, and all this. And so by right, we should produce this and send to each and every school at least. I don't know how many the number. Maybe this one they have to do the research. And maybe one school for qualified coaches or whatever, and so then only you can produce good footballers from the school itself. Otherwise, they are playing football using their guts, not the science of football. Because the science of football is beautiful, everything. And even say, for example, tennis. When I went to Spain 6-7 years ago, so I have a friend there. So he brought me to seaside. So we have our ikan bakar lah and all this. They have something like it's here also lah. So while having lunch that time, I saw a lot of these children's, but I don't know whether they are children or adults, but they are playing this yachting. So I asked my friend, oh, the people here are playing yacht during the weekend. Oh, no. That is the training school where they take children from the age of 4 or 5 or 6 to go to the school and train there. That's why they produce world-class yachter. They produce world-class tennis player. They produce world-class Formula 1 driver. They produce world-class sport. That's why we can produce, because we have, I think our Malaysian also, they have committed. They have the commitment. They have the drive to become qualified footballer, a professional footballer, or qualified tennis player, or whatever sports they belong to. Even now we go swimming, badminton. It is our forte. Also, you see,
Niche sports.
Where are we now? Where is our standing now? All other countries. I got shocked, I think, during World Cup last year. Colombia punya player. You never heard in your life that Colombia can play badminton. They can reach semi-final of the World Cup at that time. That was last year.
There you go.
So
Full of surprise.
there must be some hard work for the country to produce that kind of player. Not just by accident. They cannot produce good and qualified sportsmen or whoever they are by accident. No. It is by design. You must design them. To become what? To become footballer, to become badminton player, to become tennis player, to become Formula 1 driver. And you must spend money. Even our Formula 1 circuit now, I think now become Ghost City already. So we should utilize that abandoned circuit, maybe to train players, to set up a Formula 1 school. Utilize, because you spend billions, or maybe that time is few hundred millions ringgit to produce that kind of world-class circuit. But now, we don't have Formula 1 race here. It's gone. Everybody, people are looking, fighting to become the host, Formula 1 host. But where are we now? So all this kind of thing,
There are times when we take opportunity for certain sports festivals. For example, we started lawn bowls, right?
Lawn ball.
Commonwealth Games, KL 1998. And then somewhere along the way, the one by design you mentioned just now, where we started squash. The program, dulu yang mulia Tuku Tan Sri Imran, he mentioned to us that the program that started, that produced Datuk Nicole David, started 8 years before she was born. There was a program. So they were actively developing the sport. Okay, and then you look at diving. I think we're doing well in diving at the SEA Games.
Diving.
Our top divers were not there, but they won all the gold medals. You see? So we need to find sports that are suitable for us, right? Where we can do well. Another area is where there are events for female athletes that we are not exploiting. You see? To do this, it's not about just pushing any girl or woman into the fray to compete. You must also have a proper development. So if you look at the talent identification thing, the initiatives that we've had over the years, the most recent one was in 2015. We call it MyTID.
MyTID.
Right? Now they're trying to revive the thing. So I think we have to encourage them to come up with the goods. What happened was we knew that we need to capture most of them, not all of them. Some have to start earlier than standard one. But when you have standard one, everybody goes to school. For every year, the cohort for every year is about 500,000. For that particular year, it was 470,000. All right? So as a pilot project, we decided to do 20% of that. We need to test 20% of that cohort, that total population, because we're not ready yet. You need to do it and add 20%, 20%, 20% over 5 years. Then what happened was, we tested altogether, not 100,000, 104,000 from 7,000 plus schools. I can't remember the exact figure.
So started from the school, I mean like grassroots program or any school?
No, we selected the schools.
Oh.
We selected the schools. Eventually, the idea is to test every one of the standard one school kids in every school in the country. Because it is a screening thing. So there's a certain battery of 6 or 7 tests where we look at them, we measure them, we look at simple things like sit and reach for their flexibility.
Ujian
You see?
Sega.
We combine that with some of the tests.
Yes.
Okay, to make it, because at the end of the day, we can start with that because they're familiar with that sort of a mode of testing.
Yeah.
So out of that 104,000, Adila, we discovered the ones who scored well enough in the top 10, top 10 of the percentage of the population, 21,000. So these 21,000 out of 104,000 were in a position to be developed further. They were screened, but they have to go back to the schools. And each school, let's say 7 or 8 schools, there's one school to be the center for what we call multilateral development training. Multilateral development training, you do not start the sport yet. No football, no squash, nothing yet. You just develop physically because physical education itself is good for the general population, but to be high performance sports for the future, beginning with the school system, and then the university system, and then national system, you have to make sure they're ready to receive the loads. You see, the problem is, we're not short of skill. Our people, generally, they're very skillful people.
Yeah.
Kalau macam football, you can have youngsters at 5, 6, 7 or 8 years old, just as good as, even better than, European children. But the problem is, as you go along, the physical development doesn't keep in step. When it doesn't keep in step, suddenly you find players who are very skillful but cannot last more than 60 minutes when you have to play 90.
Yeah, true.
You see? Okay, so this is just the start. Now, apart from that, you have to recognize that whatever attitudes and culture you have to put it before puberty.
All right, okay. So we're going to take another commercial break.
Okay.
We're going to continue again with more interesting topic. Like I said earlier, today is going to be very fun and packed with information. So we're going to take another commercial break. Yeah.
Rewind. Back to basics. Rewind. Back to basics.
Welcome back to the Sports Matters with me, Adila J. Sam. So we have a winner from the previous episode of 200 ringgit voucher of our Asean. We can see on the screen. Okay, congratulations Yusrizal Yusof Ahmad for winning RM200 ringgit of Al-Ihsan voucher. Okay, so let's move on today's topic. But before that, I will mention the first keyword. The first keyword is MSN. Okay, MSN, short form. Okay, MSN. So that's the first keyword. So if you want to win 200 ringgit of Al-Ihsan voucher, you take this keyword and then wait till the end of the program. I will mention another two. And this is brought to you by our telco partner, Red One. Okay, let's move back to the topic because it's so interesting today. Okay, let's continue on the topic. Ujian Sega.
Well, you see, the test itself is not set in stone, right? So after the first year, what needs to follow was the 21,000 needs to be sent to a school near the new school. You know why? We don't want to uproot youngsters, take them away from their parents, right? They need to grow up normally as well. Because as much as we want sports to feature prominently in their lives, they must also keep up other aspects of their lives so that they have a normal upbringing, normal growth, normal development. So this is something that was a bit. I think it's not as if it's nothing new. It's just that sometimes there's no commitment or no resolve to have continuity in certain areas, key areas. And sometimes we want to make things easier for ourselves instead of making it as best as we can possibly can. You see, so that was the first year. But after that, there were some changes in the top management and all that. So what happened was, you have a different focus. Yes. Suddenly they were saying that
no continuity lah.
Tak ada. They said that the test has to be improved. Yeah. Okay, sure. But my issue with that is that you see, when you don't have time and you have to take momentum, yes, you must cross the bridge while you build it. Okay, you cannot build a perfect bridge and then you want to cross it, and then even when you cross it, instead of crossing it, you keep adorning the bridge to make it more perfect. So this is the problem, because at the end of the day, whatever method they're using at that particular time, it's already been verified by scientific endeavors, scientific research and all that. So whatever improvement or upgrading, you do it as you go along, you see. So this is something that I felt we lost momentum because of that. This sort of navel-gazing exercises, where suddenly you feel as if people are going to criticize you, right? When you should be having the courage of your convictions in whatever that you do. So instead of that, you have self-doubt and you want to keep improving yourself, when actually the best way to keep improving yourself is to move forward. Without moving forward, you are just navel-gazing as far as I'm concerned. You're wasting time. So this is something that I felt is one of the features of our sports development that has to be looked at, because we are not short of proper realization of the key issues. I think from our days before, Datuk, we know what are the key issues. It's just that we cannot put it together. Like I mentioned just now, we need to have the purity of intent and then the purity of purpose. All right? And then whatever we do, it must be driven by the right culture. Okay?
I think that something is missing. That is seriously.
Yes, sir.
Seriously and honesty.
Exactly.
These things involved in, then should be.
One of the issues I always debate with people, even amongst my colleagues in the civil service, because the thing is this: when you work in sport, the key issue is always the athlete and his performance. Athlete, his and her performance.
And need to hit the KPI.
No. KPI is different else. I will have words to say about KPIs as well, right? Sometimes you can hide behind KPIs, right? And KPIs can change. It's not set in stone.
You mean KPI of the athletes or KPI of this?
No, the thing is, the athlete's performance, by and large, measurable, right? If it is not, but the problem is sometimes we measure success by gold medals, right? Okay. Gold medal is the only measure. Whereas, if you look at it, you can only know what position you are in. Are you in a position to win the gold medal? If your performance is not up there in the last 24 months, you will know. You're nowhere near that sort of level. So what are we talking about? Suddenly you put it as a KPI. Must win gold medal as the medal target. You see? When, let's say, for example, the recent SEA Games, we have never competed in that event, right? We've never prepared for that event. Suddenly we send a team and then suddenly we want to do public chest beating, saying that we will win the gold medal. You know, this is something that I feel we're doing a disservice to the athletes and also to the sport, to the Malaysian sport, simply because we make unrealistic expectations. We're not managing public expectations properly. Okay?
So your suggestion is MSN should concentrate on the performance or the medal.
Okay, it's like this, you know. We cannot blame MSN just like that because everybody is complicit in this. You see, the committee that does all of these decisions is not at MSN, you know. It's at OCM. There's a committee there for selection, for setting medal targets and all that. So you have the Olympic Council, as the head there, because they're the umbrella body for every association, correct?
Oh.
And the associations themselves, suddenly they want to turn around and look at other people for responsibility. I don't know, right? And then you have the Majliskan Negara, of course, because they are using public funds to fund you. They have to be accountable for all of this as well, this spending. It is people, rakyat's money, you know. And then you've got the National Sports Institute. You see, MSN does program management, right? ISN does performance management. So between the two of them, they will probably, that is a great extent and progress in governmental support for high performance sport. All right? Now, when you put all of them together, it is what we call a shared responsibility between all parties. But at the end of the day, we must realize the nature of the sport that we are targeting as well. If you look at the Southeast Asian Games throughout the years, it is no longer the SEA Games of years past, you know. When we were, when we competed at the Asian Games and Commonwealth Games and all that, you sort of a far away dream to win any medals, right? So the SEA Games is the pinnacle of our sporting success. Now the SEA Games is a different thing altogether, you know. It's like friendship games, you know. So you want everybody to keep it alive by giving everybody the feel-good factor, right? To win in events, sometimes in events that we never compete. For example, 4x200 meters in the relay. There's no such thing at the Olympics, at the Commonwealth Games or at the Asian Games. No such thing. True. So we do not prepare for it. Suddenly we don't win, and suddenly everybody is, throwing sticks and stones. Apa cerita?
So with the coming Asian Game in October, right?
Okay.
So what they can do? I mean, at least.
That one is medal, right? Medal, yeah? You must, it's like this, sometimes you must treat athletes with respect. Why? Because the wooden spoonies of today can be the gold medalists of tomorrow. Right? Kalau we feel that he or she has not made the grade, why? How can we help you to make the grade if we believe in you? Right? We are not exploiting you just to win medals for our sake. No. This is for the country, and they themselves want to win medals. They have the need, because we cannot want something more than the athlete himself or herself. Never.
But I want to add a little bit. I think
Yes,
the most important, whoever involved in sports, whether the minister or whoever they are, you know, they must go back to the drawing board. You know, they must go back and plan properly. You don't talk about Asian Games, coming Asian Games or Olympics or coming Olympics, but you have to go back to the drawing board for how many years? Again, coming years.
Yes, yeah.
Maybe for next Olympic or next SEA Games, but not immediate. So if you because you are not planning properly, that's why instead of SEA Games, you become the blame games. You know, everybody are blaming each other. You know, the minister say this, the officials say this. So this is something. It is not august well with the sport itself and with the people. So go back to the drawing board. Forget about the cups. Forget about the goals. Forget everything. So when you have to bring everybody together, especially associations, okay, like FAM, like BAM, for example, Badminton Association of Malaysia also, they cannot even put association. I mean, put the apa ni yang bergaduh sama sendiri pun, you know. You have Nusa Masuri lah, you have a few other itu kan. So you must bring them together. This are you fighting for the country. You are playing for the country, not playing for your association, not playing for the company that manage you. You see? You are playing for the country. No matter what the differences you are having, but when you come to fight for the country, you fight for the country, and you must be honest, be sincere, and be thoughtful to the country and to the people. You're answering this to the people. No use. The blame game is not the right way to move forward.
We used to joke amongst ourselves. How do we force other big nations to stand up when they hear our national anthem? When we win the gold medal, everybody will stand. We stand. How much money are you going to give for that moment of honor and national spirit?
Yeah.
Right? It moves everybody in the country. Everybody's glued to the TV, looking at it.
Yeah.
And suddenly, but you must harness this victory properly to bring it forward. We were talking about development, yes?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you know why? This vertical development doesn't work. They say it's longitudinal, but my eyes say it's still vertical. Because it's still about this game. So when we're talking about next year's Olympics.
The easy word for vertical, is it instantly?
No, it's you see, kalau you see, the thing is, there'll be a debate about this, I'm sure. Okay? But the thing is, if you work, you take care of the SEA Games dulu every 2 years, yes? And then after SEA Games, bawa nak fikir pasal Asian Games, bawa nak fikir pasal Commonwealth Games, bawa nak fikir pasal Olympic Games. You see? Whereas, if you have a 4-year proper development for the Olympics, and also another 4-year development for the next Olympics, 2 or 3 Olympics, and then you have to go back and see who are the youngsters you're going to develop, not just these medal prospects saja. So when you have that together in parallel, then SEA Games, anything sports lower level than that, okay, will become milestones along the way. You see? So you have to look at this, like Datuk said tadi, is longitudinal, not vertical. Of course, there come certain periods when you have the focus. Focus is different. But kalau you do something not benefiting the forward, the one after that, then you're missing. You're not exploiting the success. Kalau somebody wins badminton, for example, yes, badminton, then you cannot be satisfied that that person just because they menang in, for example, any Open or any SEA Games and all that, you must make sure this person boleh, this pair or this person boleh jadi world champion atau tidak. We had junior world champions in badminton, in mixed doubles, in men's doubles, in women's singles. Go Liwei. Right? But do we have a world champion? Baru dapat men's badminton kan? Siapa tu? Aaron Chia and so I forgot the name.
I also forgot the name.
Aaron and so.
Too many stars.
No, well, they're the only world champions we've got at the moment anyway.
Yeah.
But the thing is, if we get that, the moment we get that, we are starting to ask, when is the next one? You see? We cannot, everybody will be happy for 2 or 3 weeks, hooray, yahoo, Datuk, and then forget, sometimes success can be our worst enemy. Why? Because kalau we succeed, then suddenly we think we made it. We know the formula, we've cracked it. Faham tak? Whereas in the meantime, you must know why you won in the first place. Was it because of your good planning, good execution of the plans, or is it in spite of all the weakness we've got? You see?
By accident lah.
By accident.
Not by design.
But everything is by providence, of course. You know, what God gives you, that's what is the reality. But the thing is, you must work for it. You must have proper planning and all that. So kalau you nak harapkan providence saja by accident, as you say, then sampai bila? It doesn't happen all the
That's
time.
why you have to go back to drawing board.
Absolutely.
Go back to
the drawing board has been gone back to so many times. But you know what the problem is? The drawing board is not being even due attention. You see?
Okay. So I have a question. This is out of topic. So what meal did you had this morning?
Meal?
This is out of topic.
Means wala cupu mas.
Yes.
What did I have? Idli.
Idli. Okay.
Okay.
How about you?
Apa ni? Lontong.
Lontong. Okay, actually,
my favorite
our
lontong.
retail partner, Ayom Big, they have a contest.
Okay.
So, Ayom Big together with Sinar Daily have a contest for you. It's called Malaysian Heroes Favorite.
Okay.
So, I need to ask your favorite nutrition meal or what your favorite food. So, in order for them to get all the stuff, shop at Ayom Big. And then, your job is to create in the most creative way, like send photos, do video, do reels, and you need to tag Sinar Daily MY and also Aeon Big. And don't forget to put hashtag Aeon Big, shop and post Aeon Big. So about to ask them, what is your favorite meal or maybe favorite food?
I always try to get fish. I like fish.
Fish.
My grandfather used to come back, right? Dia ikan pari, right?
Okay.
Ikan pari.
That's specific.
Yeah, because my favorite is asam pedas ikan pari.
Oh, okay.
I practically grew up asam pedas ikan pari dengan soto kangkung.
Are you Johorian?
No, Selangor.
Selangor. How about you, Datuk?
For me also fish. As
Fish,
I
oh.
said earlier, I'm a fisherman.
Okay, so guys, you heard them well. So go get your fish. Get your fish, any fish. And then make sure you post and tag Sinar Daily MY and also Aeon Big. All right. Okay, I've almost forgot to mention the second keyword of the day. The second keyword of the day is value in sports. So make sure you get it right. Okay, the first one is MSN, second value in sports. All you need to do is drop the 3 keyword. We have 1 left. I will mention it soon. And drop at the comments box. Okay? This is brought to you by our telco partner, Red One. Okay, sorry, I have to cut you just now. Okay, we are almost at the end of the show actually. There's a lot of topic today.
No.
Yes, I really love the momentum, but I'm so sorry. Time so jealous.
Yeah. you were asking tadi, we never got around to it. You were asking about what was the surprising thing?
Yeah,
Right?
but it's a grow topic right now, which is very interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, like now we are on the heat of APG, Asean Para Games. Do you have any message for the para athletes since they already, clinched the 33 gold yesterday?
They target.
Reach the target.
They
They have like 2 days more. So do you have any message?
Datuk?
Okay, for me, it's simple, That's why go back to our earlier discussion. Why para can perform so well? Because they are committed.
Mindset.
They have no hanky-panky in the association.
Yes.
They have nothing. They are really, when they go to the games with open mind, and they are fighting for the country. When you go and fight for the country, you will fight all out. Kan? You will fight everything for yourself, for the country. That's why most important thing is people will fight to their heart, one thing, religion, race, and country. People will go all out. They will die for these 3 things. So you want to win in sport, you have to inculcate all these 3 principles in the athlete. And I'm sure you can get the best results. Thank you.
Thank you. How about you?
I'm with Datuk Nasir, but as far as the performance is concerned, sometimes people worry too much about the outcome. I need to win the gold medal. I need to win. You just declare yourself, I want the gold medal, and then put it aside, and then you concentrate on the process. You see, performance mastery is about mastery of the process. Step 1, step 2, step 3, right? All components of your sport, and then the results will come by itself. It will come. If you concentrate. You worry so much about the outcome. That means it compromises because it puts you under inappropriate pressure. The pressure of the outcome instead of the pressure of executing your sport well. You see? There's a very subtle difference that people miss a lot.
That was me when I was still an athlete. My
Isn't
my brain wave is just like spike because I'm involved in cycling, track cycling. So in order for you to start your race, you have to be on the starting gate. It seems like running, right? Once you hit the shot, it's like, okay,
Yes.
forgot everything.
Yeah.
And then the heart racing is so fast.
What was the event? Sprint. Kirin.
Sprint. And then there's one time I'm involved in paracycling to be a pilot. Okay, however, before we end, third keyword of the day, naturalize. Okay, so try to get all these 3 in correct order. MSN, value in sport, naturalize. Okay, draw on the comments box now And if you want to win RM200 off Al Ihsan voucher, do it now. So this is brought to you by Telco, our Telco partner, Red One. Okay, so let's wrap it up. I'm
Okay.
so sad. It's about to end. I'm so happy to have both of you. Thank you so much for your insight, information. There are so many interesting, and I learned a lot today. For all of you, stay tuned for more episode of Sport Matters. Thank you so much. Make sure you following Sinar Daily on social media, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, or any media platform. That's all I have today. I'm your host, Adila Jesam. Sport Matters.
Quack, quack.